Assessor.
Assessor.
Who?
Assessor.
Assessor, yes, right.
Okay. I'm gonna start with Sharon, my budget is pretty flat. The only thing that's increased is my computer software, and that's under contract, so there's no lowering that. Everything else is basically the same. The maps we're gonna go up to 4,500, but they're staying at 3,000. So I talked to the mapper, and he's willing to work with us. And everything else on there is the same. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
I'm looking for the, this is maps on here.
It's, I believe, the second line item.
I'm looking at this is assessor,
It says other professional technical services.
oh, okay.
It doesn't say map, they changed it,
So that's $3,000, is that?
Yes. And that's providing a new set of maps for us every year with all the updates.
Now, would GIS take over any of that? I mean,
They are gonna take over that, but I haven't been given a date yet as to when. So I'm told it's gonna be happening soon. So if it happens before July, then that 3,000 won't even be there. So
So
there won't
there's
be a
a-
line item for that at all.
yeah, that was the hardest thing to get the GIS consultant to do, to tell us whether there was gonna be any savings in a GIS system. I was sure there would be, but it was like,
Yeah, because I spoke to them and they're gonna make the copy of the maps for us. So we don't need Don Gessick to make them anymore.
right.
So that's a savings right there. But other than that, everything else is basically the same.
I mean, I do know that, I mean, looking, the assessor's office is one of them that has gone up considerably since 2015. And I think that's because someone there got a certificate, certified, had not been certified,
That was Melinda who was there before Heather, yes.
and so she got
And it's-
certified, and that increased her
Yes,
salary.
and also she got a bump with the union. Every so many years you get a bump. I think it was after 3 years, and then she got an additional bump with that. So the certification is $1 more an hour, and then I'm not sure, I think it's $2 for the bump up in the union.
So you're the management, you're the manager of this area,
Uh-huh.
but you're union.
Yes, supervisor's union.
The only people who are not union are
Smart people.
actually
You're
Sharon.
part-time.
Sharon, yeah.
Sharon's in the union.
Sharon's in the
Sharon's
union.
Sharon's in the union. Just me and Pete, finance director. And
I'm gonna run a union election amongst the finance board, so you don't complain when I organize you.
Have you ever been shot?
So we have.
We all heard what you just said.
We have free.
It's okay.
Hold it, zero
not funny.
tolerance at the town hall. That's,
Yeah, the video's going too.
what is that, zero tolerance?
Zero tolerance.
Yeah.
Is that a
Write
credible?
that
I'll hit you
down.
with the latest official statement.
Yeah.
It's only about 80 pounds.
They've had the supervisors unions since I've been in town. It's been,
I've been here 23 years, not as a supervisor, but before I was here.
What's the seasonality like? I mean, I can't imagine that the assessor's office doesn't have some peak loads during the year. Is there a time of the year when you?
We are extremely busy right now. As soon as the grand list is signed off on the 31st, we get very busy because people start appealing, and we sign on January 31st, the homeowners and the tax relief start coming in February 1st. So we're closing one chapter in there, and then we're starting with the elderly coming in all the way to May 15th. So
Well,
it does get extremely busy.
on the appeal process, we have the 10-year and the 5-year statistical. I understand the years after that, the appeal process, but I don't understand why. I mean, people are coming in every year just appealing.
Well, what happens is.
I mean, did they somehow or another fall asleep for a couple of years and forget to appeal?
No, what happens is,
They miss dates.
yeah, so after we have a revow, everybody comes and appeals, and then they spread the news, so to speak, or they hear of adjustments, so what happens is,
Free money.
the people on that same road start coming in the following year who have missed the opportunity to
Right.
come in that year. And it just kind of snowballs from there.
Well, I really question the whole process, because I'm not so sure, when you see, and we have elected appeals board,
Correct.
but we have a professional office and professionals that turn around and, do this assessment, and every place there's a chance of mistakes. But what I find interesting, I'd sure like to see the assessments on the properties that were just sold up where they're gonna put the CVS. Some people say, well, that's because they put a CVS there. No, the assessment should have been for the property, not because CVS just bought it. So when somebody's across the street and says they want their assessment dropped down, when they just sold a piece of property across the street for that amount of money, I don't get that. So the only revenue in this town that I know of is property taxes, and when we're continuously seeing it assaulted, and then we have what I believe, and I'll say it, when it comes time, I've already told the appeals board that I felt that maybe they're maybe a little too liberal about their interpretations of what they're giving, because I don't know anybody selling any of those properties for that kind of money, but,
Well, I'll agree
it
with
seems like we want to be paying 30% of a assessed value. That's what we want to do. That's what we're happy with, not
Yeah,
70.
what happens is once, like Christine was saying, once you decrease it by 14 million, it takes us a whole year to recoup the 14 million. So now we're back where we started, and then we have a little bit of.
Well, last year was 2.7 million.
Right, and the year before it was 4.
So the reason we're having no growth, seems like we're taking all the growth out through this appeal process. When we have, because I know a lot of other people who are not appealing. Most people aren't appealing.
She doesn't run the appeal process.
No, but
There's
she-
a board for that.
No, she does the assessment. I appreciate what the assessors are doing.
Right, she does
What I'm
the
saying,
assessment.
I've already said, it was the appeals board that I had grievances.
But I agree, though, with he's saying, I don't always agree with the board, so.
Right, well, the thing that,
They're not professionals, they're elected.
right, but the thing that typically happens, and the ones that are most successful, are the people who hire a professional certified appraisal. And the appraiser does
Right.
a forensic appraisal, and if you turn that down, you're probably gonna, depending on how much it
On the
is,
court.
you're gonna end up in court, and you're gonna end up paying an attorney.
But you have to really read through the appraisals. They don't always use the right comps. I mean, there's a good appraisal and there's a bad appraisal.
Well,
Sometimes
I've been to
they're
court.
not even drive-by.
And they, sometimes they sit at their desk and they
Yeah,
just
they're not
scan
even
the
a drive-by.
computer, and so why aren't you going out there like I go out there if you're, you know what I mean, feeling what you're feeling. So I don't agree with all the appraisals at all.
well, they can certainly look at the appraisal and see
Some of
that-
them are good and
if
some
they've
of them
taken
are
pictures and
warranted.
they've done some other, I mean, you can look at an appraisal and tell whether the person's done the work or not. That ought to be,
You can shop for the
True.
guy who comes in lowball with his appraisals, or you can go for a company that
high
appraises
school.
high.
Yes, and it's
So-
all about the comps that they use with the appraisal. I mean, I have one now that it's on the water and it's a house, and the appraiser's using a condominium to, you know what I mean? So there's no comparison, so he's making a lot of adjustments to come up with that value, and you shouldn't be making that many adjustments.
certified
So it's-
appraisals should not be, I mean, they've got the reputation to be considered.
I agree 100%.
But there are, it's like umpires who call balls and strikes.
Well, it's
Some
like
have different
anything else.
zones.
You have good,
But then you end up in court, and usually what actually happens is you almost always settle. You almost never take it all the way to court. I mean, that,
Well, the judge takes both parties out and they cut the deal by the time you get there. I've been there,
Yeah.
done that.
that's true.
I'm gonna ask you the same question. If the town hall was open only 4 days a week, what impact does it have on you and your staff?
A huge impact.
How
Are-
huge?
Well, are you agreeing with Sharon that we move the hours and have the same amount of hours and just close it on a Friday, or?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it should be
It has a
done.
big
I'm
impact.
asking, can we reduce the number of hours that
If I
that the Wassam is open?
If well, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've trained like 4 people. So 2 of the people I've trained moved on to be assessors in other towns, making more than I do, so I'm constantly training people. If you have
Is that a
the right,
complaint?
no, but if you have the right people in there, knowing what they're doing, and you know what I'm saying, not that I don't now, but it has a big difference training someone all the time and keeping up on them and.
Well, this would give you a lot longer time to have to train them, because there'd be
It's
20%
time.
less time.
At the same time, less.
You don't
less
actually
days.
learn what goes on in our office until, for a whole year. It's just, every month there's something different. It's not the same thing all the time. So they don't learn everything for a couple of years to get it down.
Well,
So
okay, but I mean,
If I had-
4 days versus 5 days, I don't think that's
I don't think I
accurate
could
there.
do it.
All right, okay,
Well, that's what it's, yeah.
all right,
I thought Thursday.
Okay?
Right.
not gonna beat the dead horse. At least not tonight.
I just have a quick question, because you had said when you first sat down, you said that, I guess it was the third line down, that 3,000 was for the new set of maps under other,
Uh-huh.
but then there are 2 other items, if you could just explain what they are. It says other professional services and then technical services, because I was trying to look.
Sure.
So what are those?
The technical, okay, the other professional services are audits. I do 10 audits a year, and that's $5,000 for the 10 audits, which brings us back a lot of money. And then the other technical support is by, we have 2 programs in our office. We have quality and vision, so that is vision, which has all our field cards, is where I do all my sketching and updating, and quality, once I bridge, is the software that generates all the bills that then go to revenue.
Thank you.
The audits are for the businesses where
For the
they're
businesses.
inventory.
Yeah, for personal property,
Personal property, yeah.
all the personal property. And so it's $500 to do an audit?
It's $500.
And-
We do 10. We were doing 20 and they cut it back, so we do
And
10 a year.
and what do those generate generally? And
It varies. This year, I haven't totaled it out, but some years it could bring us in like $70,000. So spending 10, getting 60.
And
is
if
not-
you don't have an audit, you can rest assured what you're gonna lose. The audit is like
it's
the
a true
patrol officer going down the street keeping some people honest. If you have no audit, nobody's gonna comply. So I was, surprised that, we take in, I guess that's people who just don't know what they're doing. And,
Well, some people don't file with us, so then we start to audit them.
Yeah.
Or some people will file and it's really low all the time, or they won't file and we file for them and put a penalty. Usually they don't file because they're low, so they can, with the penalty, they can still,
But it's paying for itself. The question maybe is, should we do more audits?
well, I was doing 20 and they knocked it to 10, so,
Well, let me ask this question. So when we knocked it to 10, did we lose money?
yes,
You didn't make as much.
oh yeah.
So why would we want to reduce audits?
Well, because we're in a bad economic period, we're losing businesses in the town. And let's send some auditor out to do 20, 40, 50 businesses in the town.
Well-
You think the word's not gonna go around?
Well, why don't we just say we're not gonna charge them? I mean, we have laws, we have people who abide by the law and pay their taxes.
That's the majority of people, yeah.
So why then wouldn't you wanna have the audits to hold everybody to a level playing field? And why would we cut
But
from
it
20?
really doesn't.
Yes, it
It
does.
does, because some people don't file at all. We found construction companies that in 3 years of audits, it was like, it was $90,000. They never filed. They had tons of equipment out there, and
Let's put that number down.
so it does help. It helps
We were doing
tremendous.
20, and we were bringing in how much?
We were bringing in like, what's it like?
Yeah, it would vary, but
80,000, 70,000.
90,
It
100
depends.
something.
Some we don't make any money, some
Now, when
are.
we cut that in half, we were taking in like 45, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
So why would
they
we,
used to do
by
it.
the way, I'm looking for revenue, guys, right?
And we're looking to grow the town.
Oh, okay,
But-
I am
but
too,
you
with
do-
good legitimate businesses that abide by the law. Again, I'll say it,
exactly.
you are punishing the people that abide by the law when you allow the cheaters to get away with stuff. That's a fact.
the other thing you have to realize though is
Yes.
500,
And
Yeah, well, don't do no audits, then we don't have to worry, I mean, we're.
Maybe
you know,
there's a happy medium, maybe you should do a few more audits,
15?
and 15 audits rather than,
Well, let me ask this, right, who directed you not to go from 20 to 10?
I believe it was cut last year because they were looking to cut money, so they took.
So we cut
5,000.
Right, the Board of Finance cut it.
So we cut from 10 to 20, we saved $500?
From 10 to
5,000.
And we
5.
lost 40,000. That's great, go ahead. Just as long as we understand what we're doing. That's fine.
I never understood it.
Any other questions?
By the way, his business is, he's not reporting, so.
No, I think the other issue is not only the cost of the audit to us, but also the cost of the audit to the taxpayer, which may or may not produce revenue and can be a big nuisance. So, but I mean, I think, when you run those numbers, I understand where you're coming from, where you would argue that more audits is better than
There's
fewer.
no cost. A business turns around and does inventory every year. They have to do that. That's not a cost. That's what they should be doing.
What John says too is it keeps them honest because we don't get that information from them, they don't give it to us.
How many businesses do we have in the town of Clinton?
We have about 1,200 businesses.
Okay, and you're looking at doing audits on 10.
Well, we'd like to maybe 20.
And from the 1,200 businesses, what do we collect generally?
She just said that.
About $50,000 to $60,000.
A lot of money.
Not from the 1,200, from the
Not from the 1,200.
No, from the
No,
cheaters.
From the 10 that I do,
Yeah, but what do we collect from the 1,200?
we collect about $65 million.
Okay.
Assessment.
65 million in assessment.
Yes.
So that's 65 times $25, right? 65.
And we need to protect them by doing audits.
And about 300 of them don't file at all. I have to fill out the paperwork for them
Here's the
and
first
apply a
one.
penalty.
So I'll get the line item where the budget is.
Because if they don't file by law, I'm supposed to file for them.
Counts, so that's what it
So
is.
either way, they have to file. So
So you multiply that by,
Wow.
it just doesn't get ignored.
If I'm a business, there's 1,200 businesses, and I know only 10 people are gonna get audited, guess what? I'll take my chance and cheat. It's
That's
like,
you.
it's like the odds. It's Vegas, I mean, you know, you play the odds.
I mean, the other part of this that you've got to look at, though, 2015, we had 1,067 personal property accounts, and to the tune of $62 million. And by 2016, it was down to 1,049, $60 million. So the other side of this
We're not growing.
well, I mean, the question is, what's the net of all of it?
Yeah, what is the net now?
And that's,
It's not a whole hell of a lot.
I mean,
We
what-
lost Cheesebro Ponds though way back, and that was a big hit too, so that's,
Don't even talk about that.
yeah.
I think it's a burr under the saddle of the businesses in this town.
She should do more audits. It's her job. She knows what she's doing.
Well, we cut her, so she answered that question.
Yeah, so we could put more money in that line if we
We
wanted.
could. We cut her from 20 to 10, is when we did that.
Absolutely, could
Okay.
put more in.
Did we do that? We probably did that after the first or second referendum, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's part of the second.
Yeah, all right. We have to make sure we use the scalpel rather than that. Action.
And you're gonna go, if you put more money in, when the referendum goes down the first time around, you'll be cutting it again.
It's not gonna go down.
Want to bet?
No.
Okay.
No gambling. There's
She's
zero
smart.
tolerance
She's
for
smart.
gambling
She's not-
also.
Moving right along.
Any other
Thank
questions?
you.
Shooting and gambling, I don't know which one is worse.
Any
We're
questions?
good. You do a fine job. Thank you for your service. Tax collector, number 6.
Who is?
It's okay, I'm gonna sit right here. Just to follow through on what Donna's saying, and I really hate to say this to you, but there's a lot of businesses in town, and they're skirting every way they can not to declare all their personal property. And you really, I'm sorry, you would be shocked. And you'd be shocked how hard it is for me to collect from some of these very well-off businesses.
Really?
You would be shocked. And, you know, I do everything I can, and it's a very difficult thing at times because of the way the law reads. I mean, I have the right to go into people's bank accounts. I have the right to take property. The problem is that the property is never defined sometimes correctly, and it could be leased property. I can't take leased property because the town could end up having obligation of paying for that lease property. It gets very, very complicated, and Donna just, I have to tell you, she's got to do the audits. It keeps people honest. You're in business. The state created a state that we charge on personal property. You're here. It's part of doing business. They obviously pass some of the cost on to, you know, those that do business with them. You just have to have it. You have to. I know people at the Chamber of Commerce don't like it. The chamber, not the current director, but director prior to, ooh, you know, they don't want you coming in and checking on things. You know, they don't like the tax.
Listen, there's a whole bunch of businesses out there that are trying to survive right now. If they're hiding personal property from you, that doesn't surprise me one iota.
Well, it's not.
They are. Then the other part of it is you've got like motor vehicles. Do you know how many people try to skirt paying that motor vehicle? They walk, run to that motor vehicle to renew, and they get stopped because I'm able to flag people who haven't paid their taxes. People pay, they now only pay once every 2 years, and even at that, they're trying to sneak through at DMV. And let me tell you, I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. I don't know. Taxes, I just was brought up that, you know, it's part of life. You gotta pay them. You gotta pay to have what you have. Roads fixed, police, ambulances, you know, fire equipment. I mean, it just would amaze you.
Parades.
Real estate, you would be amazed at how many people wouldn't pay if I didn't do what I did. And you wouldn't like what I do.
I would not be amazed
You
or
would not like it.
surprised.
Or don't take out permits and we don't know what.
And they don't take out permits, and you have to fight, you know, to go out after and find things, and that's why you have to have full revals, where you're going through the buildings, through the homes. What did somebody do? What did somebody put on? What did somebody add? What did they finish the basement? And they didn't want you to know that.
Oh, no, they all get permits.
Well, it's just about them being, it's about taxing them fair too, what's there.
Right. People
That's what we're
hate
trying to do.
taxes. I get it, but the fairness only is if everybody pays their fare based on the state law, state statute that's required, that if you're going to live here in this state, there are requirements that you need to meet.
And that may be the reason our population is going down constantly.
No, I'm sure it's the same in every state.
No, no. Where did you get that?
They don't have to pay taxes in every state?
No, but there's some
There
that
are a lot
are,
of states that you don't pay.
pay much less and
Go
so.
down to Mississippi, Alabama, they got a welcome sign out, you wanna go?
Yeah.
Right, do you want to live there? Well, I don't know. I don't
We
think
can
I-
have a United States Senator who's a pedophile, they'll welcome you down there.
What's that, Murphy, Wilmington?
No, what's his name? The guy that's sheriff with the gun.
The long and short of it is, the long and short of it is, most of all of my line items are contractual or flat from years before. I do less mailings to keep, we've been able to keep the postage down, because even though postage's gone up over the last 10 years, I think I've only gone up $100 in like 10 years. Okay, so you do less mailings. Sometimes when you do less mailings, you get less return, but we have to do other things. I was able to reduce my attorney's fees. I have an attorney that does my tax sale properties, because some occasions I have to put some monies out front and then I get reimbursed, but we reduced it from $3,000 to $2,500. And general supplies, I went down a couple $100, and for dues and fees, I went down $100. And there's going to be a change. My part-timer is retiring, and my next part-timer will be receiving probably about $3 less an hour, well, $2.70 less an hour. And yes, I do need this part-timer.
I mean, when someone's retiring, that's where you could take some attrition. I know you need them, but I mean, that's the time to think about trying to consolidate.
Well, and I'm soon to retire, and I will tell you this. If you don't have consistency in that office, I will worry for the next 3 to 5 years, because the knowledge that we have as a team, I've been there, 29 years, and Kirk's been there like 8 years, and let me tell you, and you're always conversing and listening to each other, because we have so many legal issues every single day. Everybody that's talking to us, you always have to think, oh, if you say the wrong thing, and it's a title search, or it's this, you have to have everything right.
Right.
And if you don't,
It could really
get
cost
sued.
us.
I mean, I've been personally sued, I've been taken to court because, oh, I'm a toughie and I follow the rules, but I win. But a lot of people don't know that. Donna goes to court all the time. It's a stressful position. And yes, in town you are underpaying several of your supervisory department heads. I will tell you that. And you will find that. CCM, they give out for free. They will give you an updated look at wages. I'm sure there's other places.
They give us all the
can be
comps,
looked at.
they'll give us the comps of other
Yeah,
towns.
John can get them, or Mary can get them.
That'd be helpful for us, though.
That would be helpful for you, yeah. But, you know, you want to service the public. Could you go to 4 days? Could you go to 3? Sure, you could do that. But what do you want to do for your taxpayers? It's up to you. You know, people, like you said, they griped about the transfer station, and they still are griping. They're still mad. They want to know what they got for their tax dollar.
Right,
And they feel that they really got nothing.
right.
That they can't unload their garbage.
They have a police department, public safety, they get the roads plowed.
And they don't feel that's enough.
Well,
You mentioned attorneys, so they're looking at, we use attorneys all over our town government. Is there some way of looking at the attorneys and saving some money in coordinating, or is it all specialty, or what is it?
My money all comes back, so it doesn't cost
So
the
it
town. I use a
doesn't, so
specialist.
whatever you do is,
Yeah, totally separate, yeah.
it's tagged onto the bill, right?
You know, something that I probably should have asked the assessor, and that is, we budget, I think, $156,000 every year for tax relief for elderly. And I think we haven't changed that in many years, even though I think the number of elderly is going up.
It is.
It's divisible by the number of people that apply.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
I understand. So the benefit has been going down, I presume.
It goes up and down.
Yeah, it's basically stays around $520. I mean, it goes down a little bit, but we have more people, but then some people come off, either they move, pass away, so it doesn't.
This year was 520 or 530, but the year before was
520.
495. So there was
Yeah.
more money this past year because less people applied.
Right, well, I guess that's kind of the question. The other part of it is, how much, I mean, you see how much they're earning because they have to show you that.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that, and I've asked for this and have not been able to get it, was to get some understanding of what these people are paying as a percentage of their income and how that has changed over time. So while our taxes have gone up, their incomes have remained the same or in some cases come down. And we've kept the $500, and the question I have is the $156,000 adequate when you put all of those things together? I know Dolly Mazzetti came a couple of years ago and said she thought we should be raising that. I don't know whether we should or not, but I'd like data, and I've asked for it, and I think you feel that I'm invading privacy in so doing.
Well, yeah, it's confidential, so.
But you understand where I'm
No, I
trying to
do,
go.
I do.
And is there a way we could get to that information without invading privacy, so we could understand the dynamics of incomes,
They could give you the
taxes?
statistical information.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean, I
is-
can give you a list of incomes with no names.
No, yeah, well, incomes,
but at the end of the day, it's gonna, you know, if you wanna do it, it's money.
right, it's incomes and tax, well,
No, it's money, it's about, those programs, we increase it, it's a matter of taking in less revenue, because.
Yeah, I
you're gonna be
understand.
giving them the money, I mean, you just can't, I mean, it's great, because the state turned around and they've stopped the funding of some of the programs that they had mandated. So they mandated programs, and then what happens is the state had stopped the funding of that, and we're still mandated to pay for that. So.
and there's more coming.
Yeah, well, sure, because now what's happening, and that's the problem we have, the only thing we have is property tax. You want to go up and advocate on behalf of other taxes and other things? Because at some point, to get real about it, is you're going to have to make some major changes. But I would like to see if some of the people would agree on some of those major changes. We just had a discussion about who should pay, who shouldn't. That's why we should audit people who have the ability to pay, who are not paying against some poor person who can barely pay their taxes. That's why.
true. Because you feel bad for the,
Well, that's why I want to make sure the guy who's making a lot of money, some people may make less, some make more, but the guy who's making money, he turns around and pays the taxes he should be paying. And that's because we want to be fair. But I'll tell you one thing, I'll be the first to tell you, property tax ain't fair. But that's the only thing we got.
Right.
There's no
It's
tax that's
aggressive,
fair.
we know.
I don't care anywhere, so you read, study about regressive tax. It's all regressive. The tolls are regressive. You're paying for your license is regressive. Your registration is regressive. Gas tax is regressive.
I'm moving.
Well, the only taxes that are not
The other states are
regressive,
even more regressive.
yeah, the only taxes that aren't regressive are
Unless you got a lot of
income,
money. Yeah,
income and
that's-
estate.
that ain't
Those are the
not
only two
regressive.
taxes that are progressive. But the thing is when we're thinking about spending or we're thinking about tax policy, we have to realize that property taxes are the second most regressive
We
tax.
can't think about tax policy because we don't set tax policy. Tax policy is set by the state of Connecticut. There's a debate going on there all the time. You want my opinion? I'll tell you my opinion. I think we ought to turn around, take education, get rid of it. Give it to a county. And then let the county put an income tax in place to raise for education.
We don't
That would
have-
be,
we don't
that
have
would be
counties.
more progressive. Well,
But not
we had them.
But
But
not
not
tonight.
tonight.
But
Let's move the agenda.
I agree, but we can't argue about tax policy. Christine.
Poor Eric.
I just want to make one point about the tax collector's office. If you notice when you go in, there are glass partitions, there are safety features. It's important for them to have the additional staff as well to make sure that if something is not going productively or getting aggressive, that somebody else can step in to diffuse the situation. So there's a safety feature to that as well.
Had it Monday morning.
Yes.
Monday morning,
We
first
had it a
thing.
lot last week.
Really?
Absolutely. You would not believe this particular last 6 weeks,
Yep.
this has been the most unpleasant number of people coming in,
Almost threatening.
almost threatening. Well, this one did start at 2, and I stepped up and said, excuse me, you will not be.
Are they blaming you for the federal?
No, they blame it because they forgot to pay their bill, or they, where would you resend it, and they didn't like that. They're just
So they didn't get.
angry,
Yeah.
very angry.
Well, the 10.2% didn't help.
That's gonna get
The
worse.
10.2% increase did not help. So,
Give them another 8 or 9% on top of that.
Depending on how you do the math.
Well,
okay. But let's,
Any other questions of the tax collector except payer? Pay the lady.
Pay me now.
I have a quick question. And I know it's not a big fee, but I'm just curious what you use the LexisNexis for? Do you look up cases?
Oh my gosh, the money that I bring in with that. Okay, you get a lot of returned mail, number one. Number two, there's businesses trying to find who's part of the business. If I can't find something on the Secretary of State, because they've never filed as an LLC or a corp, they can file a trade name, I can go to Accurate LexisNexis and find them. I find people with motor vehicles, especially women, they've changed their name. Sometimes changed it 2 or 3 times. I can go in with their particular name currently, current address, and I can find out what names they've used. And then I can then flag their tax bills and then flag them at the DMV. I probably in a year make an extra $5,000 to $7,500 or possibly $10,000 a year just in that alone, chasing people.
I didn't even know LexisNexis, because I'm an attorney, I know you use it for case law, that's why I was like kind of
Oh,
curious.
fabulous.
You use it for a lot more.
Fabulous. You can now get cell phone numbers. You can get, you can look things up just by address. So we're looking for something that somebody's filed a business, but they didn't file a declaration. So the assessor has to make the best guess estimate of the name of the business. I can't get anything Secretary of State, can't get trade name. I can go to the address on LexisNexis, just put the address in, no name of anything else, and all comes all these businesses that are listed at that address. And then I can deduct who I think it might belong to, and then get the parties and the people and the, oh yeah.
well, you'd love to pick.
That's a good price.
You would like to pick my brain.
And also, we use the services and find people that way.
That's smart. You
and,
must know a
pays
lot
for
about
it.
a lot of people.
I know a lot about it.
Can we move on before they're...
well, the collection rate,
Any-
the collection rate, we should acknowledge as well.
All right. Any other questions? Hearing none? Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The building, let's have 24.